Welcome to this video on buy outright or resale, the buying and selling of new and used merchandise. Let's configure the program for your shop. Buttons and links work with touchscreens, and it may be necessary to adjust screen sizes for better viewing. For the purposes of this video, let's focus on resale. The video on program setup covers other settings. Click on File, then Program Setup. On the General tab, enter information about your store. The site ID and password are provided upon purchase. Save when finished, and select Clients. Click here if purchases are to be made using store credit balance. If police require detailed information about sellers, check Enable Resale and Police Reports. Save and select Inventory. Make sure this box is checked. If your business is buy outright exclusively, check here. This should be checked to print the buy outright agreement and item list on a single page. Click Save and Exit. The remainder of instructions for program setup are included in the video on program setup. The program includes a built-in seller agreement. To edit the agreement, press Utilities, then Edit Buy Outright Agreement. The content entered here will appear on the agreement along with shop and seller information. The wording is usually brief, like, I own the items that I am selling and I have the legal right to sell them. Use the Enter key to break the line at about 120 characters. The line entered here is only 74 characters. Click Save and Exit. Let's take a look at recording your first purchase. A shop account resides within the program. It is not necessary to create a separate account for the shop owner, but multiple accounts called house accounts can be used. To record a purchase, the program needs to know about the seller first. Press F2 or New Client. The client ID can be letters or numbers, but don't use both and don't use punctuation. For reports, it would be helpful to use part of the seller's last name and first initial for the ID. Only an ID and name are needed to create an account. All consignment-related options, including the consignor percentage, will be ignored by the program. Notes can be added here for shop eyes only, or here for sellers. When you're finished entering information, click on Save and enter buys. This is an entry screen for entering a single item or multiple items from the same seller. If your monitor allows it, widen the screen to see more of it. This page will be populated with the seller's ID, a sequence of item numbers, a default category, quantity of 1, the next available barcode, and today's date. The description can be up to 20 characters and will appear on price labels. You can define categories in the program, save them, and select them from drop-down menus like this. Details can be up to 100 characters, but will only appear on larger labels and in detailed reports. The sell price can be entered now or later. Enter a buy price. Change the quantity and date if needed, but don't change the barcode. Shop notes can be added here to the right. After items have been entered, labels may be printed now or later. If sheet labels will be printed, use one of these options. Only this option can be used for thermal labels. Pressing thermal will present a confirmation message. Close the message and press thermal again to print. Check this box to print a number of labels equal to the quantity entered for each item. For example, if 10 of the same item were purchased and this box is checked, 10 labels will be printed. Enter the number of the row of the last item entered to avoid printing blank labels. This shouldn't be necessary unless a blank row was clicked on. Whether labels are printed now or later, choose one of these options. Save will record the entries and close the screen. Print and Settle will open a preview of the agreement, which can be printed, and the program will return to the enter screen where labels can be printed. If labels are printed, the screen will close and the entries will be saved. If labels are not to be printed, click Save to save the entries and close the screen. Print Agreement and List will print the agreement with the items purchased. Settle Only will open a settlement screen where the transaction can be recorded and not printed. This is the settlement screen with items being purchased. Any item can be unselected if it is not to be settled. The amount to be paid is shown. Additions or deductions can be made. The amount and the date can be changed. Payment can be split if the seller is to be paid by multiple methods. Notes can be entered to appear on the settlement or for internal shop notes. Another way to print labels for items is to click on Labels on the main menu, then make settings on this page to define which labels to print. For example, select the seller and enter a date range to define the labels to print. Or select an item range and print only those labels for that person. Alternatively, after selecting the seller, click on Select Labels to Print and select specific items. When printing thermal labels, make certain that this option is checked and that the correct label is designated here. If the type and size of label is being changed, close the program and reopen it before attempting to print. Details on labels and reports are available in the user's guide. When purchasing from an existing client, select him or her from the table and press Batch by Outright. The remaining procedures will be the same.